Welcome to the first video of the SAT Essay Bootcamp. If you don't know me, my name is Rob, and I will be your instructor, tutor, teacher guide throughout this bootcamp. In this video, this introduction video, I basically want to go through what's in the bootcamp, what it covers, how you practice, and how you can get essays graded so that you'll be able to know how well you're doing and how you know your progress so far. So first, what is covered by this bootcamp? Well, first we have some introduction videos. And in these videos, I basically cover what the essay is, where it came from, how it's graded, how it's scored, and some myths about the SAT essay, how the SAT essay is flawed, just as a way of setting up the context and understanding what the essay is and where it comes from. In the next set of videos, we do what we can guess call for now score analysis. So the essay is graded from 0 to 6, and what we do through 6 essays is look at examples, real examples from the College Board of real student essays that were actually produced for SATs with their grades. Because when we want to figure out, and I'll talk about this later, but just to preview now, when we want to figure out what gets us a high score, what gets us at a 6 out of 6 on an SAT essay, we don't want to rely on conjecture. We don't want to rely on what we think good writing is generally. We don't want to rely on what people tell us is, what people tell us is a 6 out of 6 on the SAT. We want to know, what is the SAT? What is the College Board? What are the graders actually looking for in actual real essays? So we'll talk a lot more about that, but those videos are going to be going into the details of those essays and trying to find out what makes them tick and what makes them get the scores that they get. Next, we're going to, into the next set of videos, we're going to do a core strategy videos, just like with the other boot camps. In this one, we're going to go over the main things coming from, what we learned from the score analysis. We're going to see there are a few things that we're going to want to focus on in order to improve our essays. So we're going to focus on that. We're going to see how we use those strategies and techniques to improve our essays, how we set up our essays, how we structure them, how we organize them, the examples we use, how we write an argument, creating flow, coherence, progression of ideas, varied sentence structure, appropriate diction. All of these things we're going to talk about. We're going to go into details about how to do that so you can maximize your chances of getting that 6 out of 6. And then finally, we're going to work actually through a real SAT essay. So what it's going to look like is I'm going to get a prompt that I've never seen before, and live in the video, I'm going to write an essay. So you can kind of see the process as it goes. Now, it might take us longer. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done the video yet, but it might take us longer than 25 minutes to do it. But that's just because I'll be talking as I'm working through it. But at least you can see the process of how we put the core strategy together with what we've learned from what gets us a 6 out of 6. So how do I use this bootcamp? Well, just like the other bootcamps, you want to take notes as you watch. Anything that I might present to you on the screen, you'll want to try to read first before I read it, talking specifically about the essays. And when you're done, obviously you want to do your own practice essays. That's obviously important, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then once you do some practice essays, again, rewatching the bootcamp, or at least some videos of it, might be beneficial, because once you do it, things that maybe didn't make sense to you the first go through might make a lot more sense. Where can you get essay prompts for practice? There's a number of places. First, the practice tests that I provide in the member section and also on the free area of the site. Real practice tests from the SAT makers will have them that they've produced or given out on their websites. You can also use the SAT Blue Book, the official study guide for the SAT, produced by the College Board. That's going to have 10 essays. The official study guide's online course, the official SAT online course by the College Board will also have example essays. And then really you can just Google real SAT essays prompts or questions, because there's a number of websites out that have collected all of the essay topics that were actually used on real SATs, because they do not use SAT essay prompts. They may use SAT questions again, but for every single SAT, they use only that question, and then they release it actually after every SAT. So there are sites out there that have collected all of them. And if I find some, I might attach them as links. I kind of avoid posting links a lot because you never know if they're going to go down, but nonetheless, I'll see if I can find some and put them up anyway. So there's plenty of prompts. There's no shortage of them at all, so that shouldn't be an issue. So how do you practice? Well, the main thing, of course, you want to do, as we talked about in other boot camps, first you want to do separate sections and timed. I don't see much of a value in doing untimed essays. you want to get into the habit of writing quickly. So just go right into doing separate sections timed, and then go ahead, eventually make it part of your full test practice as part of your overall SAT studying strategy. The good thing about essays, though, in terms of whether you do them separately or as part of a full test, is because the essay is section number 1, it doesn't really matter in terms of essay performance whether you do it separately or as part of a full test, because either way, even if you did it as part of the full test, it's the first section. So the issues of fatigue are not going to play a role when you do it for a full test. So we're a little bit more flexible here in terms of when you want to do it. But nonetheless, just, to get, certainly for the other questions, you want to, if you're doing sections 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you want to do that first essay to get that experience, as we've talked about elsewhere, of the fatigue, of the long test over test day. So you can't just do them separately. You should do them with full tests for that reason. Finally, don't forget, if you are a part of the Reason Prep members area, the SAT Mastery Pro members area, you can get free essay grading by me in the members area. So there's a link for it there. You can go paste your essay in, paste the prompt, and I will send you back a score and some comments as to how you can improve. So that's probably the best way to get your score on it, because one of the things is, unlike with multiple choice, it's very hard to grade your own essay. And in theory, you could have, I guess, a friend grade it, but that's a little bit questionable. But even if you don't have access to the members area, though I might recommend you do, you should nonetheless you should be able to find somebody out there who is somewhat qualified to grade your essay for you, because you can't do it yourself, and that is an important part of the process, knowing what you got as your score. All right, so let's move on to the next video.